new elections in states that Biden won. They also have discussed appointing conspiracy theorist Sidney Powell as a special counsel to investigate her baseless claims of election fraud, and also issuing an executive order to seize voting machines. This is, needless to say, quite alarming and scary to a lot of people. What's your response? What will Senate Republicans do to make sure none of this madness happens?
Well, it's not going to happen. That's going nowhere. And I understand the president is casting about, trying to find some way to have a different result than the one that was delivered by the American people. But it's really sad in a lot of respects and embarrassing, because the president could right now be writing the last chapter of this administration with a victory lap with regards to the vaccine. After all, he pushed aggressively to get the vaccine developed and distributed. That's happening on a quick time frame. He could be going out and championing this extraordinary success, and instead, he's leaving Washington with a whole series of conspiracy theories and things that are so nutty and loopy that people are shaking their head wondering what in the world has gotten into this man. And I think that's unfortunate, because he has more accomplishments than this last chapter suggests he's going to be known for.
Apparently not all Republicans are too impressed with Trump's latest desperate gamble to retain his grip on the presidency. According to reporting, Trump had brought up the idea of basically declaring martial law, which is to say, sending the military to commandeer voting machines, installing election lawyer Sidney Powell as special counsel to oversee an investigation into those voting machines, and having the military re-administer the election, but only in the states that Trump lost. Convenient, huh? In the meeting where these ideas were brought up was Powell, Giuliani, and newly pardoned Mike Flynn, among others. And if you thought I was being hysterical by saying martial law, here's Mike Flynn advocating for exactly that.
He could order within the swing states, if he wanted to, he could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election in each of those states. I mean, it's not unprecedented. I mean, these people out there talking about martial law, it's like it's something that we've never done. Martial law has been instituted 64 times.
Turns out the Republican position on military takeovers is now, hey, martial law just gets a bad rap. And bear in mind, the Republican protests about this election's legitimacy are being done in the absence of any evidence whatsoever. Trump and his allies have lost 59 cases in court, including at the hands of his own appointed judges in Wisconsin, Georgia, the 3rd Circuit, the 11th Circuit, and the U.S. Supreme Court. They've been shot down by Bill Barr's own DOJ, by Chris Krebs of the DHS's cybersecurity unit, by Republican governors and Republican secretaries of state, and even Giuliani himself admitted in court that he wasn't actually alleging fraud, meaning that this is simply a disinformation campaign and nothing more. But Mitt Romney is right about Trump's legacy, that instead of using these last few weeks to tout his success in ensuring that the vaccine was rolled out quickly, which in fairness, he does deserve a degree of credit for, that's been entirely overshadowed by the fact that he's instead doing his best imitation of some low-rent authoritarian. So Trump can squeeze out 2 tweets a day about the vaccine and pretend that he's even remotely involved in the process, but in reality, all he cares about is trying to undermine the results of a free and fair election. That is all he will be remembered for. And so when he inevitably tries to run again in 2024 and puts forward this revisionist history about how he's some great patriot who strengthened America, think back to what this country looks like at this very moment. Because now, as the direct result of Trump's entire anti-democratic disinformation campaign, we now have a vast plurality of Americans who no longer trust the most vital tenet of our democracy. They don't view what was objectively a legitimate election as being legitimate, for no reason other than the fact that Donald Trump didn't win. If this was happening in any other country, there's no doubt in my mind what people like Donald Trump and the rest of his Republican mouthpieces would call it. So look, you don't have to agree with Mitt Romney's political philosophy, and I don't, but unless Republicans can do what he's doing and collectively grow a spine and learn to push back against Trump, that party will continue careening to the right, continue trafficking in conspiracy theories and lies and disinformation. It's not Democrats who are going to fix anything within the GOP. It's not independents. It is Republicans. They're the ones who need to speak out and get a handle on a party that is not just descending, but plummeting into authoritarianism. And it's Donald Trump who's leading the way. If you like this video, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deep dive into the week's most important stories and interview major players in politics, including Kamala Harris, Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Eric Swalwell, Mary Trump, Al Franken, Cory Booker, and many, many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere